I have one of my favorite citizen watchdogs on tonight. You've got to stay tuned. The game starts later, don't worry. Yes, you know, we're all going to be watching the game. But if you caught me here or you planned on being here, stay here. We originally had the city council president in Providence scheduled, Michael Solomon, but he has had to move that visit to next week due to some business issues he had to take care of, and that's just fine with us. It leaves me room for Rob Cody, who will be in here. He's my Warwick watchdog, but he's got a much bigger mission statewide, and it's got to do with this. What's this? Your car and what it costs you. So if your car costs you money and you're not making the taxes you're paying on it, you can't go anywhere because you need to know that you do have a voice, sort of. He'll explain. All right, on this big Game 6 night, let's go to the rundown and see what's going on more. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They ought to write a song out of what's going on in Congress right now. Brown, very tepid. It's a bigger picture, and they've got to focus like a laser on it. Hey, welcome to the party, but we don't really like you. Ken Block, now as a Republican, some follow-up from last night. Moving along, singing a song on the rundown. Hillary Clinton never planned this. It's got to do with Halloween. If you haven't heard about this, you're going to laugh out loud, I think. And bad omen. I'm just telling you, that's a bad omen for Game 6. Adversity. We'll talk. Okay, the Washington Post has the headline, Sebelius on health site, you deserve better. You deserve better. Here's how some of the dialogue in Congress went today.
Here we are now 5 weeks into enrollment, and the news seems to get worse by the day. Healthcare.gov was down last night at 5 o'clock p.m. It was also down on Monday, and it crashed last weekend. And even this morning, when we attempted to view the site before the hearing, we were hit with an error message.
I am as frustrated and angry as anyone with the flawed launch of healthcare.gov. So let me say directly to these Americans, you deserve better. I apologize. I'm accountable to you for fixing these problems, and I'm committed to earning your confidence back by fixing the site.
You are not as upset as everybody else. You make big money. You're a former governor. You're not as upset as everybody else. You guys made a promise to everybody else that if you like your health care, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep he or she. No, him or her, he or she. Always a grammatical challenge for the Yorke State of Mind. Which is it? Him or her? Laura says him or her. Not only can she direct a show, she was good in English. Hey, you can keep him or her. For crying out loud, man, you're not as upset as everybody. So fix it. And this 4-week deadline that you've issued for yourselves to fix it is looming large. I don't know what the apologies will be like at the beginning of December, but you could have an awful cold Thanksgiving dinner, Madam Secretary. You're not as mad as people in America are. All right, let's go to Brent. Tell me about mad. These kids are mad. They're all mad. They're all mad, walking around in circles, very mad, or very mad, or very mad, walking around in circles, very, very, very upset. Why am I doing Rain Man? I don't know, I'm a little punchy tonight. It's because I'm missing my green shirt. My green shirt did very well last night. The crew here thinks I'm nuts. Did you like the green shirt? Feedback on your state of mind. I'm sorry, let's get back to Brown. So, oh my gosh. Brown has the commissioner in for a speech. Here's the headline from the Providence Journal. New York's top cop booed at Brown. This is not very good. And he was invited to the Taubman Center. You know Marion Orr, Professor Orr. He was here a couple of weeks ago. We took a yearbook photo of him from 1967 or something like that. He looks very good there. But seriously, he's got this very important presentation. This whole stop and frisk program that New York City Police had going on was the subject of the controversy and the kids walking around outside of the auditorium. By the way, it was ruled unconstitutional, but he was there to talk about the challenges of inner city policing, keeping the city safe, previewing who might have a weapon or have a nefarious mindset or goal or game plan, and what is that rub? It's a good dialogue. All right, it's about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, a whole bunch of them. But guess what? The dialogue didn't go very well. These kids planned on jumping ugly, and they shut down the whole doggone thing. Now, I guess you have to differentiate between the kids that are on campus and the people that are off campus. It seems that the DARE group in town, which causes a lot of ruckus, the Oneyville something or other group, amongst others, were part of the protest. Look, there's a couple of things we need to establish about this. First of all, Brown's not at fault, and they should stop being so careful about how they're handling this. Listen, Brown has a very, very important role in this community. And to their credit, they're very open-windowed, open-doored when it comes to debate and dialogue. And the Taubman Center is a jewel here in this community because not only does it poll for everybody, it also brings all sorts of big-time names in to talk, okay? So when you do that, you've got to protect the franchise, not only for the school, but for the community at large that you're contributing to. So my points here are this. It's not Brown's fault, but what they do in response matters, not just on campus. Now, reportedly, they're going to have some kind of kumbaya month of conversations with the kids, the students. I call them kids when they act like them. I'll call them adults when they act like them. Students, let's meet in the middle ground. They're going to have some kind of kumbaya moment, talk about the nature of all this. Oh, please. You know, first of all, some of those kids ought to be suspended or whatever the common college version of that is. Number two, the ones who came from off the campus ought to be pursued and prosecuted. They've got the video. Now, I know it's a pain in the neck. You know, the Brown police have got to identify the people in the video, and they're going to have to ask the Providence police for a little bit of help. And it's a burden, and it will only result in slaps on wrists from judges. But if they want to get, you know, semi-orgasmic about this notion that they're protesting, let them have the full Monty, so to speak. Let them experience the whole thing, all the way down to going into handcuffs or close to it. Because if you don't do that, and you set a precedent that you can be steamrolled by outsiders who come into your school to protest whoever might be speaking, controversial of any nature, liberal, conservative, what you're doing is two things. One, you're advising those people who you might invite that maybe it's not so smart to come, or you're just inviting the same practice over and over again. Again, Brown has way too an important position in this community to let this go only with a couple of kumbaya moments with just the students on the campus. I feel very strongly about this, in case you didn't notice. All right, now, from that to the ridiculous. Oh, no, time for the politics. I almost skipped myself. The Providence Journal. Republicans welcome Block, but they're wary of his candidacy. This is as silly as it comes. Ken Block, the former moderate party creator who just jumped ship into the Republican Party to run for governor, was on the program last night, and I asked him, with Alan Fung, the mayor of Cranston, soon to announce, and him being kind of the you know, regime guy, you know, the whole party brass likes him, where do you fit in?
I go back to 2010.
By osmosis or by strategy?
There will be strategy.
The establishment, or you want to be the anti-establishment?
I want everybody. I want every vote that's out there. What I saw in 2010 firsthand was Frank Caprio spent the better part of his term as treasurer running around getting early support. And that support totally evaporated on him as the campaign went on, as it should have, because he really didn't have a whole lot that he campaigned on. In this coming up election, I will be all about substance, and I believe my ideas trump everybody else's. If it's about the issues and it's about the ideas, I'll stand my ideas up against anybody, and I believe the ideas will carry the day.
All right, good for Ken Block. So this journal story that we just referred to has got some really ridiculous quotes. I will tell you about one of them. Here's Steve Frias. He is the Republican National Commitment. We welcome him if he shares our principles and wants to be part of our team. But when you come over, don't make yourself captain of the team. Steve, excuse me, what the heck is this, the Youth Soccer League? What are you, nuts? The problem with the players in the Republican Party, all good people working hard in a cocoon. They're in a cocoon. They don't understand that their team stinks. Guys, you haven't won a game in a long, long time. Here's how you end up being captain of the party, through competition. If Ken Block gets wiped in the primary, he won't be the captain. If he wins in the primary, he'll be the captain. If he wins the governorship, he'll be a big captain. And that's how we play this game. Message to the Republicans in this state: grow up. Grow up. Now, some kids grow up and, you know, stop trick-or-treating. Some kids never grow up. Some kids don't wear enough costumes. They're 15, they show up at your door. But this Halloween story is ridiculous. I wonder if Hillary really thought about this, as Laura put that thing up that says it takes a village. Did you hear about this story? Here's the FoxNews.com headline. Woman to hand out obese letters to overweight children on Halloween. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Can we see the letter? She's going to hand this out to the chubby kids who come to the door. You're probably wondering why your child has this note. You know, it takes a blah, 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 blah. It takes a village. You know, in my opinion, moderately obese and children should not be consuming sugar. She hands the kids a letter, and she had an explanation to the local station in Fargo, North Dakota about this. Crazy.
It's very tastefully, you know, not attacking them, but saying a little more responsibility should be taken for raising your children in a healthy manner, and consider rationing the candy. I'm not denying any of the kids candy. I'm just hoping the parents are going to read this and think about it while they watch their kids get into bigger sizes of clothes.
Oh my God, she's no child psychologist, I'll tell you that much. Now, I'm not a mamby-pamby, but sending the chubby kid away without any candy in a letter, oh my goodness. Right intention, screwball trying to execute here. But with all the publicity that she's getting, none of the kids are going to show up anyway. The satellite trucks will, though, because it's great to get the money shot, you know, with the kid crying with the letter. It's a crazy world. Halloween tomorrow night. And finally, the plane was stuck on the runway, and I don't think this is a good omen for the Red Sox. You know, you don't want to tick off a team unnecessarily. Here's the picture of the plane on the, I mean, nobody did this. I mean, it just happened. They had a mechanical problem. Poor guys sat there on the runway for some 6 hours. The Cardinals did. Got in a lot later last night than they wanted to, or the night before, or whatever it was. Bottom line here, I think, is you never want someone to feel like they've got an edge or something to prove, so I'm thinking there's a Game 7. I'm just saying. Around here in this building, they're kind of looking for Game 7. But then again, I hang out by the sales staff. A lot of advertising money over on Fox. And you can go there after the show. You spend a lot of money on your car. You want to hear how you can protest? Stay with us. All right. All right, game time's not till 8:07, so hang in there. Are you a Sox fan?
Depends. If they're winning, I am. If they're losing, I'm not.
You just lost the whole audience. What the hell kind of answer is that? I've never seen you equivocate on anything in my life.
I'm not a baseball fan. I prefer hockey.
Oh, there you go. Rob is my citizen watchdog. Your citizen watchdog has really, really unnerved a lot of people in the city of Warwick for all the right reasons. And, you know, he's not what the Republican Party likes. They don't want a bull in the china shop. Did you read that today?
I did.
All right, let's get to it, though, because Rob has been working on a project and really has been a citizen hero in a lot of ways for us here in Rhode Island, watching the car tax thing. Can we put this up? By the way, it's a meeting on Monday. I want to put this up a couple of times. Monday, November 2nd at 2 o'clock. Isn't that convenient? What?
November 4th.
November 4th. What did I say? That's what it says. November 4th. Monday, November 4th at 2 p.m. On Capitol Hill, second floor conference room B. No wonder nobody shows up. People are working for a living.
3 years in a row, 2 o'clock. Everybody's working.
Is it an annual meeting?
Annual meeting. And they determine the methodology that they're going to tax us on, which is the same methodology that they use every year.
All right. Let's go once upon a time. Back at the Carcieri administration, when Governor Carcieri was looking to teach everybody a lesson and was out of ammo to cut the state budget, he dropped local aid and also encouraged, by osmosis, local communities to resurrect the car tax. One of his, he made a few mistakes, one of his big ones, though.
Correct.
The local communities have now taken what we had down to a very low threshold of taxation and brought it all the way back up.
Correct. They had a $6,000 exemption citywide.
Yes.
That you could employ a $6,000 exemption from the full clean value of your vehicle that you're being taxed on.
So if your car is worth 10 grand, you'd be taxed on 4.
The city's elected to do away with that, but state mandate says you still have to give at least a $500 exemption.
So the math is, if the car is worth $10,000, now you're taxed on $9,500 in most communities across the state right now.
Correct. But what's key here, Dan, is that $10,000 value is, that comes from the full clean retail of the NADA book. It's an unrealistic value, as we know. So that's the value, saying if your car is in pristine showroom condition, your car's worth $10,000, that's what you're going to get taxed on. We know that's not the case in 90% of the instances.
All right, we look at a little timeline of how this whole thing has traveled. And Rob, why don't you kind of walk us through this? This is the same. We didn't put any dates on here because it's the same round of events that happened in both 2011 and 2012. Correct?
Correct. Basically, what happened, we had a bill that I co-authored with Representative McNamara in 2011. That was heard before the Finance Committee in February of 2011. And the League of Cities and Towns came and said, this is a nice bill, but we need a fiscal note. We need more time to study the note to see how it's going to impact the cities and towns. The bill was heard for further study. And then in December of 2011, the Vehicle Values Commission met to adopt the new methodology. What's important to note is when they meet, Dan, they take written testimony and oral testimony. However, they cannot speak to you. You cannot ask them questions, and they can't respond. So if you took a cutout of the members' pictures and you put it there, you would get the same result. Okay? Fast forward to 2012. Representative Shikachi puts forth the identical bill in March. In April, we have the meeting before the Municipal Finance Committee, Chairman Helio Mello. At this point, Peter Schaefer from the League of Cities and Towns comes in and says, we need more time to study this. We need a fiscal note. And we asked Peter Schaefer, well, you've had 14 months. What further study took place since the last time? And the answer was, there was no further study, so the bill was held. Again, in December of 2012, we meet with the Vehicle Values Commission for the methodology. They adopt the same methodology, and here we are again a year later.
All right. You get all that. It's bureaucracy at its absolute worst. Only Rob's got the patience to actually chronicle it for you. What the real thing ought to be and what he's fighting for when we come back. Stay with us. You want to take these notes, and you can show up at the meeting, you know, if you can find it. All right, we got to move fast here. Rob Cody is a citizen watchdog. All right, we got to move fast here. Rob Cody is a citizen watchdog, self-appointed, by the way. Car Tax Revolt is the website.
That's what we started out. cartaxrevolt@aol.com.
All right, so let's work our way forward and then back. Right now, there's this big meeting, if you could find it, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Capitol Hill on Monday of next week, second floor, conference room B, where the Vehicle Value Commission has its annual discussion, and they discuss specifically what?
The methodology and which they're going to propose to tax us on our vehicles.
All right, and right now the methodology is what?
That you are being taxed on your vehicle as if it was in full, clean retail condition.
No matter how many dents, pings, or
no matter what.
That you haven't vacuumed it.
Full clean retail.
And French fries are going to come out of the back
Doesn't
seat.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Showroom condition, that's what you're paying for.
All right, and you would suggest
that the vehicle should be taxed on the next column, which is the average trade-in value.
Aha.
Everyone has agreed on that, as a matter of fact.
Who's everyone?
Both sides, when we've had the meetings between the Leagues of Cities and Towns, Vehicle Value Commissioners say, you know, that's really fair. We should do it that way. But if we do that, we're going to lose about 12% revenue. Where does that 12% revenue go in the cities and towns? It goes, as we know, Dan, to unfunded liabilities, free health care, lifetime health care plans for part-time employees, things of that nature.
Other states' comparability in this?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, look at in Florida, you pay a tag for your vehicle once a year. There's no sales taxes, and there's no property taxes.
Listen, when I first moved to New England as a Jersey kid, I came to Massachusetts first, and I went, what's this tax on my car thing? So it's a cultural phenom in New England to have car taxes. But I'm talking about actual vehicle value. Are all the states brand new?
No. Different states have a different breakdown, where, for example, in Massachusetts, the first year you pay 100% of the full clean retail. The second year you're paying 60%, then 55%, and it breaks it down.
No matter what condition the car is in.
No matter what condition.
Why
but here in Rhode Island,
couldn't we follow Massachusetts? Why can't we do that?
Dan, the problem is that everybody realizes that in doing so, they're finally going to do something that's fair for the taxpayer, but it's going to have a negative impact on revenue. Now, they don't want to look at the ways to make up that revenue, which, as we all know, there's several ways to make up the revenue that are fair and just for the taxpayer.
10 other shows. What Rob has done to pare back the Yorke City budget is PhD work. I'm not kidding. I mean, really. But yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. They're unable to treat the vehicle value tax or the property tax on the vehicle for its net purposefulness. It's all the scam to keep the money afloat. So
keep that revenue stream going, no matter how unconstitutional
the problem
or unfair.
here is the culture here in the state is that too many people just feel like, oh, what the hell, you know, what the hell, you know, whatever. And you're telling me that something can be done. So what in less than a minute's time, what do you think people can do about this?
If you have the possibility to make it to the Vehicle Values Commission meeting on Monday the 4th at 2 p.m., second floor, conference room B, you should be there and you should voice your opinion. What I find interesting is that the people that really need to be there are these elected officials, our representatives and senators that have previously put forth bills. Now's the time that they need to be there, because now's the time when it counts. We know when it goes for hearing at the State House, it's going to be held for further study. Now's the time to address the Vehicle Values Commission on Monday, November 4th. Maybe it'll make a difference.
All right. Please show up at the meeting if you can find it. Good work. All right. He'll be back a lot because there's other stuff. There's plenty of stuff. Can you imagine?
Thanks,
you know, we almost got rid of this car tax, and then it came whacking back at us. It's just regressive and ridiculous. Your State of Mind when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Your State of Mind, we've got a tweet here back to us at Dan Yorke Show that reflects on the daycare conversation that we had yesterday, you know, the unionization effort. One thing it does is give an avenue for the Division of Taxation to make sure these daycares are paying correct taxes, says Irish Ted on Twitter. Ted, thanks for watching. I have no idea what in the heck you're talking about. I really don't, but, you know, at least you're paying attention. Daycare providers, you know, we've shown, you know who they are, they look like. The daycare providers are small businesses, and they should not be unionized. They're going to try to pull it off, though. Anyway, here's the State of Mind. 228-1886. Leave us a voicemail or email me at stateofmind@myRITV.com or contact through Twitter or Facebook. I got to go watch the game. You too, right? Bye. See you tomorrow night at 7:30.